Please take it away.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction and handover, Francesca. Good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited to be on this call and invited to share with you all today. So I'm going to just share my screen here. We can jump right in and I'll tell you a little bit about who I am and what we're going to get into today. Let me get in here and I'm going to share. And here we go. So today we're going to jump into talking about what it takes to foster a resilient entrepreneurial mindset. And this presentation is presented by me, Kashaun Parker, and in partnership with SCORE. So a little bit about me. I am owner and founder of Next Step Forward Coaching and Consulting. And I started Next Step Forward just to be able to provide a space for new and emerging entrepreneurs to come in and get that personal development space for their business, for what it is that they're bringing into the world. And then it kind of grew and blossomed into now I do a lot of professional keynote speaking, training, and seminars just on that, on the entrepreneurial mindset, because I think it's so important. I am also a best-selling author, and I do a lot of writing just on resilience and what it takes to just stick with it and continue through even some of the most challenging and difficult of times. I am a single widowed mother of three. The picture here is my three children. They are my lighthouses, my powerhouses. They keep me grounded and restored. And I am one of those that I love being a mom. And so I thought that I would share them with you today. I am on the board of a couple of organizations, such as the National Speakers Association Illinois chapter, as well as Toastmasters International. And within those organizations, I do much of the work that I'm speaking about here, and the art of resilience and what it takes to continue to grow and evolve inside of those organizations. I'm certified in entrepreneurship, and I also have my master's in business and administration, as well as a coaching designation from the International Coaching Federation. So that's about me. What I would love to know is about you. I'm going to stop sharing, but I want to know what kind of business are you in? If you would just in the chat, let me know what kind of business you're in and what brings you to today's call. Let's see. And Francesco, if you wouldn't mind, you want to monitor those responses?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, here they come. Okay.
We've got some notary services, clothing and retail, automotive repair and service, startups.
Okay.
Yeah. Mental health, solopreneur.
Yes, these are awesome. Awesome. So you're in the right space, you're in the right place. This is all great things. And what I'm excited about as you are typing those responses is just the bit of foundation in a discussion that we're going to have today, because I think it's very important. I think the way that we foster our mindset and the way we look at business is the foundation in all that we do and all that we become. And so to each of you, I say congratulations on taking that step forward and getting started into birthing your own baby, birthing your own vision. And my hope today is that through this talk, that you get some key insights, some key nuggets that are going to help you and maintain and keep going years to come. So the impact of mental resilience in business is, I want you to think about a time when you faced a significant challenge in your business, right? What did you do? How did you respond? And what mindset shifts did you have to take control of to be able to get out of that mental pitfall that you were in? And then think about, what would have helped? What would you have liked to have seen or heard, or what would have made the difference? And a lot of that is what we're going to get into as we discuss here today. So the first thing I want to get into is what I like to call mental poison. And mental poison are just those spiraling thoughts that takes us from that 30,000-foot view where everything is good. We are going and we're inspired and we're innovative and we're creative. So we get into these spirals of, well, what if I fail? What if I lose everything I invested? What if I run out of money and I can't keep my business going? One of the ones that I heard a lot when I was in my coaching spaces was, oh my God, what if this doesn't work and I got to go back and get a job? And what I'd like to say is when you consume that mental poison, it does not help the overall objective. And while they are very valid questions, what we're going to get into is how do you begin to reframe some of those very valid questions into actionable steps that help you to move forward and make progress in the right direction. Make sense?
Yes.
Some common mistakes that we get into is what we consume. And I call this mental junk food. So the first one was mental poison, and now we're going to get into the mental junk food, okay? And what that is it's the things that we focus on that may not deliver the best impact to our minds, to our business, to what we're trying to achieve. And so sometimes that looks like focusing on the short term. It might look like focusing on getting things all perfect with your website or getting just the right social media platform. And all of those things are good and they serve a time. But initially, you want to be focusing on the things that are going to move you further in your business in the long term that produces growth and then sustainability. And then I think the number one thing that we consume when it comes to a mental mindset block is the idea of being rigid. We lack adaptability. We don't want to move or maneuver or pivot on what our thoughts were or what we envisioned when we first started. I can tell you when I started Next Step Forward, I had this elaborate thing of what I was looking to create. And boy, did I come in for a rude awakening, because as I began to actually bring forth the pillars of bringing in Next Step Forward, it didn't look like what I thought it would look like as I began to really get the foundation set. And I, for a long time, struggled with the adaptability piece, being willing to shift and move my focus to what would grow. What did my customers want? What did my market want? What was the best ideal for them? Not necessarily what was good for me. Okay, so we're going to be mindful about the mental junk food that can kind of get in our way. So, what is a resilient mindset? And what I look at is a resilient mindset really just boils down to it in the moment, its ability to remain positive and adaptable and then proactive. And you're willing to maneuver and shift mentally without getting bogged down and lost in the process. It enables you to navigate the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. Okay, and so then we get into the resilient entrepreneurial mindset. And that really is, it's just now we're maneuvering what it takes to withstand and recover and grow, and understanding that there are going to be stressors, there's going to be adversity, there's going to be changing market conditions, like things are going to happen. And mentally, we've got to be strong enough to be able to understand that, okay, this is a part of the process. This is a part of what we're doing. So in the context of entrepreneurial resilience, it just means you maintain that drive, that focus, that optimism, that persistence to keep at it, to go and flow with it. Some of the benefits of an entrepreneurial mindset is you get motivated. So I know for me, when I am really struggling in terms of what is the next best thing that I need to do for my business, I'm not really in a sense where I'm feeling motivated or focused or clear. I'm really stuck in the thoughts and the what ifs, and then I tend to um, get distracted, or I'm doing the things that really don't matter or aren't moving me closer towards my goals. I find that I'm getting lost in the chaos, and I am not really effectively developing the solutions that my business really needs for the market that I am looking to serve. And so when you operate in an entrepreneurial mindset, it opens up motivation. It opens up the possibilities of all the different ways you can come in with what it is that you are looking to bring into the marketplace and serve and help and deliver. And then you start to think of different types of what if scenarios that allows you to become really sustainable pillars in the communities that you're working in. And my goodness, you get laser focused on the things that are going to allow you to make progress. And you're minimizing distractions, and you're working in alignment with your strategic vision, and you are actually operating in a space that is flowing. So we want to make sure that when we are in this space of entrepreneurship, that we drive towards working and thinking as an entrepreneur with resilience, understanding that there are going to be things that come up. And the idea isn't what comes up, it's how we navigate them. So when we look to understand resilience and entrepreneurship, one of the examples that I love is I had a client that was just starting a cleaning service, okay? And at first, when I checked in and I go, well, tell me, how's business? Like, how's everything going? And this was about a month in, and she was so excited. Like she had the plan, she had her objectives outlined. She was working through all of her back end materials, and she was really focused on what it was she was doing. She's like, the ideas just keep coming, and I got my team in place. And then I said, well, check in with me, keep me updated on how things are going. And I'm seeing her on social media, and I'm seeing her website, and I'm seeing all of these amazing things. And then I go and I check in with her about a year later, and I ask her, I said, well, how are you doing? How are all these things going? And she's like, well, it turns out I'm really struggling to get contracts. I'm really struggling to stay afloat in my business. And I said, well, what changed? And as we began to talk, one of the things that changed was that mindset. It was the consumption of the mental poison. It was the consumption of the junk food. All of the activities that she was focusing on weren't necessarily the key activities that she needed that would move her business forward. So it was a lot of those face-to-face networking interactions that she wanted to outsource instead of going in and having those conversations herself. And then it was more about really building the right team that shared in her vision and her passion, and then really thinking of a solid strategic plan that was going to move her business forward. And so we had to look at some of those things in detail to really talk her out and pull her out of that space and get her thinking from a resilient space and how to maintain and withstand. And I'm, happy to share that she is now 5 years in, going strong and just still maintaining, just because she was able to make some key shifts in the way she was thinking about things and the way she was doing things, and really willing to be adaptable in what it was that she was doing. So some key components to a resilient mindset really boils down into 7 key areas. And so I've talked a little bit about the adaptability, and then there's persistence, there is emotional regulation, there is a positive outlook, being willing to continuously learn, proactivity, and then seeking support, which is one of my favorites, and we'll get into that in a little bit here. But these key components, they are not one versus another. You really need to be tapping into all of these things mentally to be able to continue to move forward and have growth and sustainability and success in what it is that you're looking to build. So this is another interactive question that I have for you in the chat. What I want you to answer for me is, what kinds of individuals would you say you have in your network? Who is in your network? Are you in a network full of various business owners? Do you have a mix of coaches and consultants? Who is in your network? And then we will look at the chat as those come in. All right.
Jocelyn said other business owners.
Other business owners, yeah. Anybody else? Oh, I have no network. Okay, no network. Awesome, awesome. All right. So great responses. Facebook groups, a mix. Great responses. And we're going to dig into this a little more because I think that a really significant piece of mental toughness or mental resilience really becomes understanding who you are surrounded with, right? And so we're going to get into now the idea of networking. So I say we build a support, a network with a resilient mindset. And I like to call this my elite 3. And I can't take credit for this framework. I think I first heard it from Bishop T.D. Jakes, and I just kind of dug in and I listened more and I studied it a bit more. But I like to call it my elite 3. And so we look at our networks and we have 3 key groups of people that we are connected with at all times. And so one group is the comrades. Those are the people who are for what you're against. So in the form of business, you might think these people are for working a job that you hate. Like they don't like it and you don't like it either. So you guys are connected just for that. They may be for just standing up for growth and development. Like they share in the fight for what you are against. And then you have your constituents. This group is probably your largest group. Because they are with the cause. These are your tribe. These are your people. They are with you. They are the ones that are probably in your social networks. They are sharing your content. They are commenting. They are making introductions. So a lot of you mentioned that you go into networking group with fellow business owners and things like that. Those are probably your constituents. And so their attraction is the mission. They love what you're doing. They want to see you succeed. They want to continue forward with you. And the difference really in between all 3 of these brackets is the motive. These constituents, they are down for the cause. They are with it. They are your tribe. And then what I love, my personal favorite, is those confidants. And what I say in this group, it really is 1 to 2 people. I mean, they know your deepest secrets. When you talk about the things that are coming up for you in your business, these are the ones that are there with you. They can hear your silence. They can hear when something just isn't going right, or they are there to bounce ideas off of and tell you, hey, that's a go, that's a good idea, or that's a no-go. You probably want to go in and reconsider that, but they are locked and loaded with you. They typically are around with you for a significant amount of time. And so this group, you don't want them to be large. You really want that small inner core circle where if you are tossing and turning at 2 a.m., you can call one of those confidants and say, hey, listen, here's where I am. Here's what I'm going through. And know that they can come in with you in those spaces and help to pull you out. Okay. And so I want to open up the floor here. Are there any questions on the Elite Three and how it might fit your particular network? Okay. All right. Oh, I got a raised hand. Fiona?
Hi, I have a question for you. So,
Okay.
I actually work in a very male dominant industry, and the thing is that the women what is it? It's the women-owned business certification required me to have mentors, or rather people who are women also in this industry. Now, there are quite a few of us who actually are trying to, break out and try to get this going, but it's really difficult to find someone who is a mentor, who is a woman, who is in data technologies, right?
Mhm.
I work in AI day in and day out, and I work with industries that are extremely, high security projects. And so, how do we go about finding these women that would be a good mentor or a point of contact for difficult days? Like, if I don't want to go military route, I want to pivot and do something else. How do I go
Mhm.
about that?
Um, okay, and so I think that's a great question, Fiona, but I want to expand that a little bit more and understand what the logic is for that woman having to be in the data field or the same field that you're in.
They have to be pretty much in the same industry. So we're talking, it's not data governance, it's not, information governance. We're talking like day to day. Most of the people, 98, I actually went through my contact list. I'm not kidding you. I am a numbers person. 98% of my contacts are men. And when they ask for these, mentors, it's like, oh my gosh, who am I going to go to? Like, how do you find them? How do they're supposed to be industry people, but I don't see them.
Mm.
Can I take a stab at that one, Kashaun?
Yeah, please.
Fiona, there are so many different types of associations, just like Kashaun showed earlier, all of her different types of associations that are industry specific. I know that, working with feds are a challenge, right? Working with even DoD folks, it's a challenge, right? Like it can get really, really tight knit when it comes to those good old boy clubs that have a
Yes.
budget, right? And so with that comes a lot of networking events. And sometimes, I've just perused through websites and just looked at their board and looked at, who's going to be at the event. If I find that there's a particular person that I want to speak to, then I might go to that event, try and get a card, make the connection, build the rapport, and then ask for that letter, right? So that is my word, or that's my idea for you as the
Okay.
same. If you haven't done that route already, which I know it's a very male dominated field that you're in.
Yeah, because most of the ones that I go, so I've been invited to a lot of women events. Unfortunately, the women that are in there are predominantly more towards educating people, and their theme amongst them is educating more women to be in this industry, which is great. I love
Mhm.
that. But the thing
Mhm.
is that now I need to go, I, I, I need to have that, here's a male dominated, industry. And now I need to literally, bounce ideas, not just with the men, but with women too, because we actually have a very different mindset, right? And
Mhm.
the siloed effect is very predominant in this industry. So that's why I was hoping maybe you guys had. I mean, I am going to definitely pursue because I go to a lot of the major um, conferences and whatnot, and usually I'm the speaker, but I'm not the person. I can't like. I want to go find someone else who could speak. So that would be great.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Okay, let's cut her. Let's move.
So Fiona, I think that you bring about a very good point. And Francesca, I love that because as you were talking, that's where my brain expanded too, is just in getting out and then it's the legwork of networking and getting into some of those organizations. And I believe the International Association for Entrepreneurs, I believe they have said organizations that have connections with groups that might be women led or women might be within them. And so you may find someone that is very solid in that space and able to pick up on the mentoring. But I think that because the industry is so very male dominated, it's just going to take a little bit of leg movement to get that connection.
100%.
Okay, so now are there any other questions, I guess, before I move on? Okay, so now we're going to talk about, overcoming obstacles. What happens when life starts lifing is what I call it. Because we all operate outside of our business spectrum. And when you're building a business and you still have all the other things, sometimes we could kind of get lost in uh, in the weeds of things, and then it becomes this mountain of stuff that just kind of comes in and takes us over. So what I'd like to get into here is the way to build that mental strategy of what happens and how do I sort through making sense of what versus what and where to really spend my time. So this first portion is the mental strategy for success. And it's one that I've used. It's one that I've extended to clients that I work with when I go in and I do consultations. It's one of my go-to because it's very simplistic in form. I think that we have so much information now. It just becomes a lot to sort through. Okay, well, what are the practical things I can start to pick up on right now? And so when I thought of this strategy, what I wanted to do was someone in the moment, what could they do? How could they come out and how could they just re-engage themselves into the business and what they're doing? So I go into the strategy and what I say first, the first step is really just assessing where are you focusing your efforts. And so when you look at all the things you are doing and you take a snapshot of your day and where you're spending your time, where is that focus going? And I say the detail paints the picture, it tells the story. And it's not to justify it, it's just to really understand the story of where you are focused. And then number two is my personal favorite is now, how do I adapt and how do I adjust to what I should be focusing on? Because just because you're doing it doesn't mean that it's the thing that you need to do right now. So you really want to look at and be willing to adapt and to adjust where necessary so that you are really maximizing on that focus and doing the things that really make the most sense for you right now. And then the third step is to execute. So what is the action that I can take that helps me make progress? And a lot of times we think that action has to be this big thing. And I'm here to tell you that it really doesn't. It just needs to make the most sense for what you are trying to do. And so sometimes the thing that you need to execute on is not going out to another networking event, for example. It might just be reconnecting with someone that you were in a networking event with prior, and you guys just now have the opportunity to catch up and touch base and see how you might be able to help and support one another. And then the fourth step is now support. So when you've done steps 1 through 3 in this strategy, then you can go in and figure out, where do I need support? Like Fiona just so eloquently
Yeah.
led us into
Yep,
with
yep.
her question. I'm sorry, I thought I, so, she let us in with her question. Her question was very targeted. It was very straightforward. How do I find in my network a mentor who is,
Yeah, that's true.
who is a woman? And so I think that support very very well should be last in this case, because I don't think that unless you've assessed, unless you've done what you can to adapt and adjust, and unless you've done the things that you can do, that you would maximize on the real value of leaning into your support system. And so then when you use this strategy and you just keep going back, and it's a repeatable strategy, you go each step every single time. And then what you see on the outside of that is you begin to see the progress. You begin to see the things that help you to move forward, to begin to come out of the weeds, if you will. And you begin to really break up some of the mental chatter that may come in and convince you that you are not doing the things that you should be doing. So what does that strategy look like? Let's go a little bit deeper. When I say, where am I focusing my effort, I mean, you really take stock of the current activities, the projects. I mean, everything that you are doing. And I like to do that really in the time block. So I look at the very start of my day to, when I'm wrapping up, and what does that look like, and where am I spending the most amount of my time? And then I always ask myself, well, what should I be focusing on right now? What makes the most sense for me to be focusing on? And I can tell you, as someone that juggles many hats, it could be really easy to think that you need to be focusing on, one thing versus this other thing that's going to make the most sense. And it's really the projects that are going to yield you the most significant results. And so when you think about what it is that you have that you're going for, and I always like to say this would be a good time that if you're not writing down goals, you absolutely want to have those things written down, because that sets the framework for this strategy to really get in there and do some great work. And then always look at, what's the action that I can take that moves me closer to my goal. And so you break down those goals into actionable steps, into clear action plans, and you assess, what is it in those goals that I'm doing well? Where do I need to go and revamp? And then what is it that I am really looking forward to doing the next time? And that's the strategic led work to getting things done. And so then say, well, what do I need from my support network? And so this is where it really comes key to understand the buckets. Who are your elite 3? And so you understand now, based on the challenge you're having, where does it make the most sense to go find my support? And you identify those people who are in your network that can offer you guidance, mentorship, and or resources. And so it might just be thinking of who in your network might know somebody and can make an introduction. I can't tell you how many times that a simple introduction has helped me to make way or come out of a particular challenge or struggle that I was in, just by talking to someone else who was an expert in the thing that I was not. And so again, you want to be able to assess, adapt, and adjust, and then execute, so that you can communicate what you need very clearly. When you go through those steps and you understand what's not working, it gives you the language to be able to make the ask for what it is that you're looking to get. And then tips for success. If you don't already, and I think everybody on this call is safe to say, is already tapping into that growth mindset. And so you embrace that when there's a challenge that comes up, when you're looking to really tap into that mental resilience and the ability to keep going, you embrace these challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. And so when I think of a challenge that comes up for me, the one thing that I say is, oh, that must be something that I don't know. This is an opportunity for me to learn, to get in there. And I don't spend a lot of time, beating myself up and trying to figure out why I don't know what I think I should know. It's really just being okay with the fact that I don't know. And boy, this is a great time to learn and find out. And then I always say, practice positive self-talk and monitor how you allow yourself and others to talk to you. And I find that we're really good on how we let others talk to us, but we're not so good in the way that we talk to us. And what I say there is garbage in, garbage out. If you are saying things to yourself, it really shapes and forms the things that you say when you're speaking, when you're thinking, when you're looking to execute, because you're planting seeds. And the idea is when you really understand that tough days,
Yeah.
in anything that you're looking to do, they're going to happen. And then as tough people, though, we learn to navigate them. We learn to get through them. We learn to work and maneuver them. And then we also learn where and when to get help. And so I hope that, these tips are ones that serve you as much as they've served me, because I think that they are very important. Always be willing to learn, and it takes more than just taking in information, but I found that we also need to digest it and take time to figure out what does it mean for us as we're growing, as we're developing, as we're learning. What does the amount of information that we have available to us, what does it mean for us and what we're looking to do? And now we're going to put it all together. So the 4 key takeaways that I want you to have with you is, number 1, embrace adaptability. Don't be so rigid in what you're trying to do that you're not willing to maneuver and adjust to what it is that the market wants from you, or what you could do to bring out your very best. And then I want you to think about what it takes to cultivate your support network. Be your own advocate. Find out who and what you need and what makes the most sense for what you're doing. You want to build and leverage that strong support system, and keep in mind your elite 3, your groups, who's there that's going to be your comrade, your confidant, and even your constituent as you begin to grow. And then you want to commit to continuous learning. Learners are earners. You want to invest in your personal and professional development. You want to always look at it as, oh boy, this is not something else that I have to learn. This is, I get to learn. And when I learn this thing, it's going to do this for me in the future. And then you want to monitor those negative thoughts. You want to actively be paying attention to what you're consuming, what you're taking in, and then what you're putting out. And again, it's the garbage in, garbage out principle. And you'll be amazed at the little things that try to sneak their way in, as the mental junk food or the mental poison, that really spring about some terrible roots into building sustainability and growth within your business, and ultimately within your mindset for what you are trying to create. And so I want to encourage you that the challenge is not necessarily an indication that you're doing something wrong. It's not necessarily an indication that you're not supposed to keep going. It more oftentimes than not is an indication that you're just butting up against something you don't know, and it's an opportunity to get to know. And it's what you do in those times with yourself, how you take care of yourself, that will set the example, that will set the tone for what you do going forward. So at this time, I am going to open this up for any questions that you may have. This is an open discussion, so any and all questions are welcome.
Well, first, I want to thank you so much, Kashaun, for such an amazing presentation. It is something to continuously think about, you know, even the last one, garbage in, garbage out, you know. Let me ask, what are some practical things to kind of like mentally snap you back? You know, what are some of those comments that you kind of fight the negativity back with, you know, because they can be an avalanche of negativity. How do you keep the avalanche from happening, if I can put it that way?
Absolutely. So I always say the first thing to do is, and you put it, I love the word avalanche. Like that's so perfect because that is how it comes in, and it's forceful and it's strong and it's fast. So the first thing that I like to say is slow it down. You are in control of your thoughts. You are in control of your brain. So, you know, the first thing is slow it down and then ask, how is this helping? And it might not be an immediate shift, but it is that mental reminder to get you to really look at some things. And so I practice daily the routine of just slowing my thoughts. And the way that I do that is I get time alone with me to really practice just that idea of I'm not in a hurry. There's nothing that I need to do that is more important than me. And so taking a moment to just really slow down and understanding, you know, your body. So when those avalanche of thoughts come in, you'll notice that you can feel it. You can really feel it as it goes through your body. And so then is it really helping? And so you come up with your key moniker. Mine is the question, how is it helping? I would suggest that you come up with whatever yours is that helps you to snap out of it and begin to reframe whatever it is that's happening in that moment.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Good afternoon. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know, as a new business owner, how do you, what was your recommendations in starting building your network?
That is a wonderful question. So how do you, is it Dewan?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So Dewan, here's what I did. What I realized and what I needed to realize at that time when I was building my network is all networks aren't created equal. And so I needed to really pay attention to the groups and the places that I was spending my time in and realizing from a business standpoint, which of those are best suited to serve what it is I'm looking to build. So I knew for me that I love the idea of speaking. And so I found networks that could support me in speaking. When I knew that I love the idea of leadership. So I found groups that were really great about fostering leadership and what that meant. And even my decisions to participate on the board in some of those organizations was a direct result of me realizing what is the benefit value add for me as well as what is the benefit value add for the organization. Like it is a dual collective partnership. And so some of that, it takes a lot of intentionality to look at where you're spending your time and then how is it really fostering the thing that you're looking to build and grow. And sometimes it's a great fit and you're good, but then some of them you might realize that, hey, okay, maybe I draw back and these aren't my main groups and organizations, although we support the same thing, but this isn't going to be where my pillars are. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Did I just, oh, I see it. Is it
Mhm.
Carol?
Oh, good afternoon. My
Good
name is
afternoon.
Carol McDermott, and I am the owner of the Skashi Company, which is a skincare line. And I just want to make a comment. I am so happy that I listened to this, that I enrolled in this particular session, because I have had many problems with starting this skincare line. And I've been doing this for a long time. And I just kind of shifted recently. And what I learned today is letting me know that I'm still going in the right direction. You know, I've had the mental poison part of it, and I've come through that. I've enlisted different people that I can now call my little team that is pushing me forward and helping me to see through things. So what I learned today is that I'm still on the right track, even though I have not started making money yet. But this is just letting me know that I'm going in the right direction. So thank you so much for this session, because it's really been very good for me as a business owner.
You are so welcome.
And then we've got a question in the chat that was recently entered. It says, how do I search for a mentor without feeling they are my competitor?
Ooh, that is a great question. I think I see that. Is that from Alma?
Alma,
Alma. Okay. And so, Alma, what I want to really offer you, this is a really great mindset question, because this one really invites you to shift the way that you're thinking about it. So first of all, when you think of a mentor, that person is ahead of where you are. And ideally, you want them to be in a similar space so they understand where you are in your journey. Okay. And so they're not necessarily a competitor, but they might be a cheat code. They might be the person that is going to set you 10, 20, 30 steps ahead of where you ordinarily would be. So this is one to really look at, how am I thinking about this? If I have the opportunity to connect with someone and they would make a great mentor, then what is it that I need to do? How can I connect with them and then also offer a value to them? Because maybe you could offer something to them that would help them as well. So the idea of them being your competitor is really one that I think keeps you stuck and not reaching out and not getting the things that you need just because of the way that you're looking at it.
Yeah, and if I could piggyback off of that, Kashaun, with a
Mhm.
recent kind of like experience of that, where I work in digital advertising, and so I had this one client that wanted to, utilize somewhat similar of the same type of services that we offer, but we don't really totally focus on those services. So we combined teams, and at first it was like, this is a huge competitor. Like, this is the competitor. Like, what the heck? What is this? I mean, I was still on the team. It was just like, we're gonna add this other team too. I was like, okay, whatever. And I just had this whole mindset, and I was so upset. And it actually was a training opportunity, and I didn't realize it at the time. It was a much larger media agency, iHeartMedia. And so now what has happened is that we actually are iHeartMedia agency. And so because of my breakthrough of saying, okay, I'm gonna go all out and just show these guys that I am so much better, my resilience to show them how good I was actually got me the ability to become an agency underneath them. So I would certainly, just be resilient, because you don't ever know, but you always do your best in any situation. You know what I mean? It's such a tough one, but that's just the way that I learned it.
Yeah. And that's a good insight too, Francesca. Thank you. And I love how you said, I was just willing to go all out, right? Because I think that is so powerful in that it could be that you didn't do what it took to move forward, and you could have been stuck there. But when you say, nope, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to put everything I got into it because that is the thing that's going to move me further. And it really invites you. It's not a force. You don't have to. But when you step into that invitation, all kinds of doors open up. Like it sounds like an amazing partnership opened up just because you were willing to get on the other side of that thought process of this could be a competitor. And they likely are. It doesn't mean that you don't have competition. It just means that in this space, it's an opportunity to collaborate and get to know something that you don't already ordinarily know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. It became great, actually.
Yes. Congratulations to you. It sounds like it.
Yes, thank you.
Any more questions? Well, while you all are thinking, what I will do is I want to know what's one takeaway that you have from our discussion today. What's one great thing that you've learned?
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Strategy, how to build your network, the elite three. I'm not the only one who's looking for the right mentor. No, you're not, Fiona. Adaptability, stay on top of my mental state. The importance of your mindset. Let me tell you, it is crucial. The 7 key components. Yes, Carol. All right. And so what I want to offer to you as we look to wrap up is when we are done with this presentation, when you are in the next phase of what it is you're looking to do, the things, the challenges, the thoughts, they will come. And so this is not a presentation that says you're not going to have those, but this is a presentation that says you know what to do when they show up. And so when you get these slides, I hope that you will review them. I hope that you will take away just one thing or two that you could begin to apply that will begin to foster that resiliency in your mindset so that you can continue strong and keep going forward in the business that you are looking to build. Because I'll tell you, we need you. The thing that you're looking to bring out into this world, we need it. And contrary to what you might be feeling or any thoughts that might be coming to you, I'm here to tell you, without you, your greatest invention cannot come forth. So please do whatever it takes to be able to continue forward. There are organizations much like SCORE that offer phenomenal resources. So continue to tap into those as well. And I thank all of you for your time today. And so I will wrap with this just to keep going, to stay positive and to seek support everywhere that you need to. And the idea is not to just say, I need help, but be very specific with where you need help and don't be afraid. You're not bothering anyone. You're not, not contributing to what it is you're looking to bring forward, but you'll never know the answer if you never ask the question. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, Francesca.
Thank you so much, Kashaun. Such an amazing, 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 and motivating presentation today. It was just so phenomenal. Such a phenomenal woman, encouraging all these other phenomenal women, right? And so thank you for your motivation. Thank you for this webinar. And thank you everyone for your time. As you all know, we have our Minority Women's Roundtable every 4th Monday at 12:30. So look out for the email from SCORE, and I will see you all next month. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.